Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Dominica pushing new approaches to agriculture as ICA holds its National Accountability Seminar. Dominica and Finland to strengthen bilateral relations in education and other key economic areas. And gifted composer, producer and guitarist Ronald Boo Hinkson joins this year's Jazz and Creole lineup. The details of the news coming up.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says Festa activities will serve to complement the events of the Ministry of Tourism. Here is Andrea Louis with a report.
Last year, the culture portfolio was added to the Ministry of Tourism so that these two sectors can work together to more uniquely promote Dominica. Lawrence says all should come on board to support events being organized under the Ministry of Tourism and Culture.
And I feel all of us, no matter which part of government we work, we can all support each other. No matter which part, the role we play in Dominica, it's supporting each other. So I think the activities can complement, rather than compete, they can complement each other. When visitors come to Dominica, they can attend, a variety, whether it's Festa or the jazz or the tourism, and it's also local government month as well during the month of May. So, in other words, people cannot say there's nothing to do. Sometimes in Dominica we like to say there's nothing. In the month of May, for sure, there are going to be a lot of activities. We cannot say there's nothing to do.
The Dominica Festival of Arts, or Festa, was first launched in 1983. This year, activities will kick off on 30th April with a concert at Alias Foises and end on 1st June with the Festa Song Contest. The Jazz and Creole event and Mayfest in Marigot are also being recognized among the multitude of Festa activities.
A music concert and art exhibition by Dominican artist Alexander Boyce at the Alliance Foises are also part of the package, and Boyce will also stage an art exhibition at the Old Mill on Tuesday, May 7th and Wednesday, May 8th, 2019. Also at the Old Mill, we open the Festa Art and Craft exhibition on Friday, May 10th from 5 p.m. with beautiful displays of art and craft, together with live performances from 6 p.m. for all to enjoy.
The theme for this year's Festa celebrations is Building Community Through Culture. Lawrence says this year's events will be particularly meaningful in the post-Maria rebuilding efforts.
In the present day today, I think Festa takes on even more significance and importance as we are still into the rebuilding and recovery mode in Dominica after Hurricane Maria. And I think we have to continue to use opportunities like Festa, like the Jazz and Creole, to help energize and revitalize and rebuild the culture of the country, and also to help rebuild Dominica as a whole. And who are the people who are helping to rebuild the country? It's all of us.
A musical by Pearl Christian, a community concert in Kulibistri, and the DIFA End of Your Concert are among the host of activities on the Festa 2019 calendar.
Another internationally recognized jazz musician has been added to the lineup for this year's Jazz and Creole. Acting Festival and Events Manager with the Dominica Festivals Committee, Ulson Matthew, made the announcement on Wednesday.
This week I can safely say that we have added renowned St. Lucian guitarist Boo Hinkson to the lineup. So with that said, our main event will now feature the Smith brothers, Johan Chokeri, who we featured at last week's briefing, Tony Shasso, our newest addition, Boo Hinkson, and our very own Mel.
The addition of Ronald Boo Hinkson to the lineup now brings the total number of mainstage acts up to 5. This year marks the 10th edition of Dominica's Jazz and Creole, which is being held at Fort Shirley at the Cabritz National Park. At Wednesday's ceremony, Find Foods Inc. and the Tranquility Beach Resort were introduced as sponsors of the event. Matthew expressed gratitude to the sponsors of the event so far, but says the DFC is not quite where it would like to be in terms of business community support.
I believe the intent is there. They want to contribute, but I mean, due to the passage of the hurricane and many other financial constraints, they just can't. So I wouldn't really knock them for not being able to, but some are really making the effort. Not the numbers that we would want to see, but we are still very grateful for all the contributions by the public and private sector. Sorry.
Jazz on Creole 2019 runs from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Sunday, 5th May. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Agriculture Reginald Austrie says a new approach is needed in order to tackle the impact of external pressures on the banana sector. Austrie told ICA's National Accountability Seminar on Wednesday, Dominica must begin to place bananas on a more secure footing if we are to successfully combat the effects of climate change and meet export market standards.
We are challenged by the challenges of the banana sector, and we all know the importance over decades of the banana sector. And you know, like sometimes when you're used to a particular way of life, it becomes very difficult to adapt to changes. But some of the pressures brought on us are not really of our own making, but the international community and the way that world trade is now being conducted and the standards and qualities that is being demanded of us. We have to begin to look at repositioning the banana and plantain sector. And just last week, we had some discussions with some farmers where we gave out some tools and some equipment. There's still core farmers in bananas doing very, very well. There's a very large regional market. But with the challenges posed by climate change and the black sickle-toker disease, we have to continue to make changes and to do innovations and to do improvement in the sector. But bananas will remain a core activity for many of our farmers, and we have to find new and creative and innovative ways to realizing the improvement and the advancement of that sector.
The minister said the country had already made significant investments in agriculture.
We probably used up about $1 million in terms of disaster risk management projects, which are aimed to strengthening and integrating disaster risk management and climate change considerations in that particular sector. And it's obvious why this is very, very important to us. Hurricane Maria has taught us some serious lessons, and we have to learn by those. So we are investing very heavily in mitigating against those negative elements.
Government is investing $481,000 on the horticultural program to include production of vegetables and ground provisions for the local and export market. Additionally, the minister wants Dominica's agriculture to be data-driven.
In terms of information gathering, Hurricane Maria exposed our weakness in that area where we were not able to access in a timely and comprehensive manner the statistics in that sector. And we believe that moving forward, we have to have a more reliable, a more comprehensive data collection mechanisms. And so we're spending some $11,000 in doing that. For any hurricane, we embarked on a validation exercise. That is really almost completed. We're now inputting the information, which will give us at the tip of a finger, at the tip of a button, exactly where we are in terms of number of farmers, in terms of the acreages under cultivation, the suitability of lands for various crops, and guide us in how we make our investments in agriculture. There was some information. It also tells us how we're doing in terms of the markets, where these markets are, what products are market demand at any one time. And production forecasting. This is also going to be very critical in forecasting our production, and thus be able to measure our opportunities in terms of income generation.
The appointment of attorney-at-law Heather Felix Evans as Finland's honorary consul in Dominica is expected to lead to strengthened bilateral cooperation between the two countries. Finland and Dominica maintain cordial relations with each other, but the country's ambassador to Dominica says there is a need to strengthen relations with concrete cooperation in mutually agreed areas. Education is likely to be one of those areas of cooperation.
In the past, Finland has had regional programs, cooperation programs, especially in the area of meteorology, environment and renewable energy. During my visit, I have had now discussions with senior officials of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In these discussions, the interest to deepen cooperation in the area of education has emerged, and I believe it would be a promising sector for further bilateral cooperation. On regional level, I could name digitalization, e-government and cybersecurity as some of the most interesting themes for cooperation.
The ambassador made his first trip to Dominica 6 months after Hurricane Maria devastated the country. He says he's impressed with the progress he has seen since.
During this visit, I have noticed, to my deep satisfaction, that the recovery efforts are advancing well and the spirits are higher. The Dominicans are resilient people with character, by character, and deserve support and solidarity from other nations. As a member of the European Union, Finland channels her development aid and cooperation through EU institutions, as well as through United Nations system. We will be holding the rotating presidency of the European Union during the second half of the year. It will be a crucial period for post-Cotonou negotiations between the EU and African, Caribbean and Pacific group of countries. We will do our utmost to help bring the negotiations to a satisfactory conclusion.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vermine la. Moun ki pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique, couvert bouche ou le ka estene et tousse. Visitez docteur et ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
The Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce is looking to get more young people involved in the runnings of the private sector. This as the DAIC will host the first ever scavenger hunt on Thursday. Executive Director of the DAIC, Lizra Fabian, says the event will provide a creative way for young people to discover and connect with DAIC members.
First of all, we really want participants to understand that DAIC is a membership-driven organization, and we are supported through our membership. And as a result, we want to create more value, but also visibility for members, so to show which are the businesses really contributing to the success of our organization. Really, because without our members, we would not be existing. So we always want to give back and create more visibility in unique ways for our members. And it's also a great opportunity to engage the general public in really knowing more about our business community, because our business community is a very important stakeholder in the development of Dominica.
The communities of Marigot and Woodford Hill say it's all systems go for the inaugural community tourism competition. We go again to Andrea Louis for more.
This competition is the brainchild of the Dominica Community Tourism Association, Inc., as a means of boosting grassroots tourism in the communities. Communities in the north and northeast have been zoned into 5 districts for this event, with competitions taking place over 3 weekends. The first of the 5 competitions is scheduled for Saturday, 20th April in Marigot, which has been zoned with Woodford Hill. PRO of the Marigot Community Tourism Committee, Kwesi Linton, says the event will be kept strictly local and will follow a format that is family-friendly.
We want to encourage the persons around to be able to utilize and create crafts and so forth with them. So we're starting with the children, we're also encouraging families, so therefore we're having a driftwood competition for children and for families so that they would be able to create anything creative out of the driftwood, and prizes will be given. We're also going to be having activities for children. What we normally do is MCTC, Marigot Community Tourism Committee. We normally do a monthly bonfire social. So around the full moon, we usually choose a Saturday that's the closest to the full moon, and we have games at the center.
The event is scheduled for the grounds of the Marigot Community Tourism Office in Melville Hall, Marigot, and Linton says preparations are well underway for the hosting of this community affair.
Well, in preparation of the grounds, everything is hard work. Nothing is easy, but with time, efforts, and patience, and, team collaboration, so to speak, slowly but surely we make headway. We've done quite a bit so far. We've had quite a bit of preparation to do on the grounds. We actually had to do some restructuring on some of our ground areas, so to speak. But as far as where we are, I believe we are currently on schedule. So we definitely should have these feats completed by in time for the event.
Linton says businesses in Marigot and Woodford Hill are very supportive of this venture.
As far as the business community, I would say that we are receiving support because the persons that are actually catering the foods, the culinary aspect of it, are businesses in Marigot. You understand? Marigot and Woodford Hill environs, so to speak, So it's clearly showing that they are participating, they're willing to show support, they're willing to help out however way that they can in order to make our event a more robust event, you get me? So I would definitely say that they are playing their parts.
The Marigot and Woodford Hill communities hope to see increased tourism activity in their areas resulting from the Community Tourism Enhancement Competition. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Head of the Public Service Union says protest action will continue if government fails to address certain non-salary matters. Just last week, the DPSU held a protest rally to highlight its concerns over salary negotiations for the 2018-2021 triennium, as well as non-appointments, nursing association concerns, among others. The union says post-Maria housing needs of some public servants are also included among the issues.
Because while all sorts of people were getting assistance and employers were assisting their employees, public officers had to go to their pal reps like anybody else, or to follow lines like anybody else to ask for assistance. And many of them have not received any assistance. So it is a number of issues, the question of victimization, the question of bullying in certain sectors, all these things have to be addressed. And we are saying that those things have to be addressed now, and if they can't be addressed, remember, we have taken a decision that our protest action will continue. And anytime an action or a decision is taken at our general meeting, is taken at our delegates conference, the executive is not in a position to go back on those decisions. So we are moving forward with all the plans that we have in terms of the protests. We are not going, that is, whatever little thing has happened is not going to deter us.
Thomas Layton says while the union continues to protest, strike action has not been ruled out.
What will trigger strike action? We will continue with what we plan. We will meet, we'll review whether what we plan, when they are implemented, whether it's having an impact, whether it's bringing results. And after reviewing the impact, the non-impact, and I believe it's going to have impact, but after reviewing it, then we decide on the next stage. And our next stage could very well be all-out industrial action. We're not ruling that out at all.
And former UWP candidate for the Soufrière constituency, Dr. Sam Christian, continues to express gratitude to all those who helped in saving his life. 4 months ago, his vehicle rolled down a hill, pinning Dr. Christian against a wall, leaving him nursing an open book fracture with both pelvis and hip broken. This led him to being airlifted to Martinique for expert medical care.
And I know it's only by the grace of God that I'm here today. Nothing that I did deserves this second chance. Very literally that it was, and I just want to thank all the nurses and doctors, Dr. George, Dr. St. Luce, the anesthesiologist, Dr. Thomas, a Kalinago surgeon, and I know he left some Kalinago fighting spirit there inside when he went in there looking for blood, for bleeding. But I also, the nurse who took care of me, Nurse Cornelia Abraham, is a neighbor of mine in Point Michel. And, I only vaguely remember two things while I was in ICU, and that she was writing on this big chart. And one time I lifted up my hands and I saw my hands was just totally white, and I realized that my blood was going, almost gone. And I remember the number 50/30, the blood pressure 50/30. And as a medical professional, I know that blood pressure was awfully low. I've never heard a blood pressure that low in someone who survived. So I knew, that I was really on my way out. And she said, Nurse Abraham said that my hips and my thighs and my back was swelling so much because she could actually see the blood in there. And she called Dr. George, and Dr. George wrapped sheets very tightly around my waist and my thighs. And, he was in communication with Dr. Dale Dangleben, who is a trauma surgeon in Pennsylvania, who does this kind of thing every day. And Dr. Pascal had taken a picture of my x-ray with the pubic bone all separated. And Dr. Dale Dangleben, apparently, I understand, when he saw that picture, he said, he cried. He wept. He said, "You've got to get Sam out of there, otherwise he's not going to make it." We do not have the tools that are necessary to stop that kind of bleeding.
Dr. Christian says he was transfused as fast as he was losing blood. He lost his entire blood volume, something which has changed the way he perceives his relationship with fellow Dominicans who donate blood.
My entire blood volume, none of my blood was left inside of me. Every single drop of blood that I went to Martinique with is the blood of other Dominicans, the transfusions that I received, and kudos to the lab technicians and professionals there who kept me supplied with the blood products. And that's what I meant when I said that, Dominica owns me. Every time they drew my blood in Martinique, they were not drawing Sam Christian's blood. They were drawing blood from the blood bank at Princess Margaret Hospital, people like you and I who donated blood. We never know the situation, but, I was just eternally grateful, really, for the people who made that kind of sacrifice. And if you're not a blood donor, it's certainly something that you can consider because it saves lives and certainly saved my life.
Dr. Sam says he's currently managing chronic pain.
Well, I took care of a lot of people with chronic pain in the United States. And when people have chronic pain, sometimes it gets a little bit annoying and frustrating because you're not sure whether they really need the pain medication or whether they're just trying to manipulate to get pain medication to get high. I'm on a pain medication called Tramadol, which does not get people high, but it's a very effective pain medication. And I try to do without it. And when I don't, then my legs feel very heavy, and I am able to crawl about a little bit. And I think that's a huge difference why people who do not have the proper medical care may not have progressed as well as I did. Because when you have the pain medication, you can go through the exercises that you need to do to strengthen the muscles again. But when you don't have the pain medication, you almost don't want to do anything. So I have chronic pain, and I need the pain medication to get around. But I thank God. I mean, today was the first time I was out in town by myself. and I had to restore my telephone service, which had not been used for 4.5 months.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Dominica pushing new approaches to agriculture as ICA holds its National Accountability Seminar. Dominica and Finland to strengthen bilateral relations in education and other key economic areas. And gifted composer, producer and guitarist Ronald Boo Hinkson joins this year's Jazz and Creole lineup. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.